Meta is officially the cheapest company in the Magnificent Seven, and it's not even close. Right now, Meta is trading at a forward PE of 21, which means it's actually cheaper than the average companies in the S&P 500. But everyone is treating Meta as a boring social media app. Meta has 3.5 billion users on its side, so you can imagine the amount of leverage that they have. In this video, I'm showing you exactly how Meta is going to hit $4 trillion in market cap by 2030 by pulling levers that Wall Street themselves cannot even see. All the way from the gold mine they have, which is WhatsApp, to Meta display glasses, to the new Meta compute. So as I just mentioned, Meta has 3.5 billion users that use it daily. This is a massive amount of leverage. Meta launched Threads app out of nowhere, and this instantly gained millions of users. Meta stock right now is down negative 21%, and all of this because investors are worried about capex spending. But I don't see this as a worry at all. As you can see, their capex spending nearly doubled, and they're even expected to spend more in the upcoming years. Meta is utilizing all these spending. They're trying to position themselves in a strong position when compute is needed. Now, Mark Zuckerberg has been hinting about Meta compute. Many times he has said that they're going to spend so much in capex just to be ready if AGI comes. And if AGI does not come and he knows that they spend too much, then they can leverage all this by selling APIs to their customers. And a week ago, Mark Zuckerberg has said on Threads that today we're establishing a new top-level initiative called Meta Compute. Meta's planning to build tens of gigawatts this decade and hundreds of gigawatts or more over time. How we engineer, invest, and partner to build this infrastructure will become a strong strategic advantage. And I think this is true. So they're treating compute as a strategic long-term capacity asset. They're also trying to reduce resilience on external clouds. By owning chips, data centers, and infrastructure, this is how Meta creates leverage for itself. And the reason why Meta is doing this is because they believe AI demand will be massive and persistent. And they also believe that owning compute turns a variable cost into a moat. Meta also made Llama, their own LLM model, an open source for developers to use. Now, not to mention, Meta is also competing in the AI products sector. Now, Meta wants its AI glasses or any AI product that they make to be an essential product that is used among everyone. I mean, if you look into the future, you can't tell me that you can't see a world where we have AI products, especially some things like glasses, where you have a screen, and by the screen you can do so much things. Right now, what they have in the screen, you can text to WhatsApp, you can also accept video calls, you also have Meta Maps, and if someone sends you a reel through Instagram, you can actually view it. So you can see how this can turn into a whole futuristic thing. This could be the next iPhone event. So now I'm not saying this particular glass is going to be the next iPhone, but what I'm saying is that Mark Zuckerberg is very close to a breakout that's exactly like the iPhone breakout. OpenAI as well is trying to build a third essential product, an AI product. But I think that Meta is already far ahead in this race. These AI glasses that you see are already fully booked out. And Mark Zuckerberg said, because of supply constraints, is going to only be focusing in the US and not internationally. And this is only Gen 1. So in the upcoming years, they would have new products that will be even more powerful. Meta also, of course, as we know, they have WhatsApp, and this is one of their most important assets. It has over 2.7 billion active users that use it globally, with extremely high engagement, especially outside the US, in India, Brazil, Latin America, Africa, and parts of Europe as well. Unlike Instagram and Facebook, WhatsApp was intentionally built as private encrypted communication layer, not for ad feeds. For years, it made almost no money at all. But now this has changed because Meta has WhatsApp business platform now. Meta monetizes WhatsApp primarily through WhatsApp business platform, which is what you see right here. Now, this is not ads, this is usage-based infrastructure revenue. Businesses pay Meta to message customers at scale. Meta charges per delivered message, with pricing varying by country and message type. So Meta sells the API, not an app subscription. The key product is WhatsApp Cloud API, and the product itself is the messaging infrastructure. This lets businesses programmatically send messages, confirmations, reminders, OTPs, shipping updates, and transactional flow directly inside of WhatsApp. Think order confirmation, delivery updates, support, conversations, payments, and authentication. They have Business Management API, and this lets companies manage phone numbers, message templates, analytics, and accounts programmatically. They also have Marketing Messages API. This is usually higher margin. It enables optimized marketing messages with better delivery, higher read rates, and conversion tracking like add to cart, checkout, and purchases. I believe that this is a very powerful leverage that Meta has because everyone uses WhatsApp. So they can build even more features and this would not affect their margins at all. So WhatsApp has extremely high open rates, near zero spam tolerance, direct identity tied to the phone number, end-to-end encryption, and daily usage habits. I myself still use WhatsApp, and I think it's very powerful, and I think everyone almost uses WhatsApp or have used WhatsApp in their life. It's a pretty smooth app, and right now their CapEx spending is also flowing into WhatsApp. WhatsApp has a new update where it shows summarized messages, where if, for example, if you've missed in a group 100 messages or 200 messages and you don't want to read everything that was said, you can just click summarize and you can see key detail points of what was said. I think this is very powerful, and I think this only makes people wanting to use WhatsApp even more rather than leaving. So the question here is, how big can this actually get? I mean, WhatsApp revenue is still early relative to the user base. Only a small percentage of the business globally are fully integrated into WhatsApp. As commerce, payments, and customer support and authentication move into messaging, WhatsApp becomes a global communication utility, a payment-adjusted platform, and a B2B infrastructure business. Now you might ask, how does this connect to Meta Compute? I mean, WhatsApp business runs entirely on Meta's own infrastructure. Every message, every webhook, and every analytics event and API call consumes compute. As volume scales into trillions of messages per day, with businesses using it almost every minute, owning compute becomes very crucial for Meta because they do not want to rely on other businesses or supply chain constraints. I mean, we saw how companies wanted these NVDA chips, but NVIDIA had a constraint. They could not produce more than what they had. Meta does not want to rely on anyone else. They do not want to rely their chips, their compute, their platform, their infrastructure by anyone else. This is why Meta is building massive internal capacity. Not because customer asks for cloud compute APIs, but because owning infrastructure makes WhatsApp monetization cheaper, faster, and more defensible. I know. This is the annoying part where I have to tell you to subscribe, because 92% of the people who watch my videos are not subscribed. So I'll keep it short, but please, if you like this video, give it a like and subscribe so you can see more of these videos. So I think what's really important to know here is Meta's not trying to be the next AWS or Azure cloud. Meta's building internal scale so products like WhatsApp Business can grow without margin compression or dependency on external clouds. WhatsApp is evolving from a free messaging app into a global business communication layer, and Meta Compute is what makes that economically viable at massive scale. What I like about Mark is he treats this company as if it's baby. And what I also even like more is because he's the founder. And I love founder-led companies because they always want the best. Now, even better, Mark Zuckerberg owns a big portion of Meta. So this motivates him to work harder and make the company actually grow. I think Meta is in its very early stages. Their AI models, their algorithms are getting so much better. I mean, I myself have noticed, tell me in the comments if you guys also noticed this, but I myself has noticed that Reels have become much better than TikTok. They are more personalized, and it's probably because they're reading our text, which is something else. But as a shareholder, users are staying on Instagram more, and Meta, I think they probably won the short form content war against TikTok. I mean, TikTok has still its benefits. TikTok is good on tutorials, or if you want to know in some information. The search bar specifically on TikTok is much better than Meta Reels. But Reels themselves as entertainment alone, I think it's way better than TikTok. So the algorithm is getting better. And at the same time, customers that use Meta ads see high results. And that is because Meta's algorithm is so good that if you talk about, for example, a white jacket, and you were searching for a white jacket, you're most likely to see a white jacket ad. But what I like better is that you're unlikely to see an ad that you have never been thinking about or you have never talked about. Sometimes on Google, you see ads that are so irrelevant to what you were talking about or what your personality is. But on Meta, I noticed that I would see more ads tailored to my personality. So this makes it, if I actually click on an ad and buy something, the business that paid for these ads see higher return. So far, this is a good thing. I mean, you can test this yourself. You can go on Instagram right now. After this video, you can go on Instagram, click on the stories, and just keep clicking. You'll see that most of the ads are actually ads that you would buy. It's something that you are interested in. If you're a person whose whole feed is about gym and bodybuilding, then I bet you 90% of your ads are going to be about protein shakes, gym wear, gyms around you, all of these things. And it makes it that you can more likely to buy these items than someone who never goes to the gym and never interested in going to the gym. So Meta is already sitting at 3.5 billion, 3.9 billion. They do not need more ads. They need higher revenue per user. And they do this by improving their AI models. And that's why they're spending all this. AI improves conversion predictions, creative optimization, and budget allocation as well. So let's take a look at Meta's financials really quickly. Meta has a score of 4.14 out of 5. Their forward PE is 20.42 and their current PE is 26.7. Their market cap is 1.56, and by the title of this video, I think they can reach $4 trillion by 2030. So this is nearly a 2x. Meta has grown revenue at 21%. Yes, 21% for a Magnificent 7 that has $1 trillion market cap. Meta has grown revenue at 21% over the past year, which is strong growth. Also has more cash than current liabilities, meaning it has enough cash to handle all its debts within the next year if wanted to. Meta's return on invested capital is 26%. I like to see this above 10, so this is awesome for me. Their gross margin is sitting at 82%. Their operating margin is sitting at 43%. Their free cash flow margin is 23%. The net margin is 30%. The revenue increase of 21.7%. Operating income increase of 28%. Everything is looking very nice. They have a revenue CAGR growth of 24% and an income CAGR growth of 25% and a free cash flow growth of 21.18%. The stock price usually follows the free cash flow growth and the EPS growth. So when you see these numbers are high, the CAGR return that you're getting on your money are close to these levels. Their average free cash flow growth is 34.4. I'll be conservative and I'll put this as 25. Their average price to free cash flow is 29. So I'll put this as 25, and their average price to free cash flow over the past 5 years was 26, but I'm still putting it as 25. And if I do this, then you're getting a return of 17% per year. And Meta right now is 37% undervalued. If you think these prices are too conservative, I've added a free cash flow growth of 30%, and now you get a 21% CAGR return every year, so you're definitely doubling your money every 5 years. And this is if I expect everything to be the same or slightly higher. This DCF tool that I'm using right now is by Stock Unlock. I will leave a link down below. I think Stock Unlock is the easiest DCF calculator that you can use. You don't need to use hundreds of spreadsheets or formulas. I know this can be super annoying and this would be wasting your time. If you're interested in doing a DCF calculation for yourself, which I really recommend, then you can use Stock Unlock and you will unlock a 2-week free trial. So I want to talk about this, the average revenue per user. I think that from now, Meta is not really focusing on growing more users. They just want to see that the average revenue per user is growing even higher and higher. This is what really enables Meta into an operating leverage machine. But nevertheless, their advertising section is still growing very well. But in case you also do not know about Reality Labs, they have laid off 15,000 workers and they're planning to decrease their spending there. So that's a good thing. I would rather they decrease spending there and increase it somewhere else. Payments and other revenue segments have also been growing. It has seen the most growth. This is probably also coming from WhatsApp API segment. Meta's operating income of family apps has grown as well. This is also what I like to see, is that Meta's operating expense when it comes to sales and marketing has decreased. So they're not spending as much as before. Everything's growing for this business. I really think that this business has a huge moat that it's very hard for another company to take away their market share. I mean, having half of the world on your app is insane. It's so hard for a company to get 100 million users, 200 million users, yet alone half of the world on their apps. And this is the type of leverage where you cannot imagine the possibilities that Meta has. I mean, imagine this. 3.5 billion users. If Meta partners with another company just to create an ad, maybe FIFA wants to create an ad for the World Cup and they want to promote it across 3.5 billion users, you know how much money this would make for Meta? It's insane. Imagine every time you open Instagram, you see a 1-second ad. This alone is worth billions and billions and billions for Meta. So this is why I think Meta can reach $4 trillion by 2030, if not even more. Here I wrote some levers that Meta has that could make this $4 trillion market cap possible. The first lever, as I said, their ads. Ads are still compounding harder than people think. Meta's ad engine is not mature in the way that people assume. The reason why is Reels monetization is still catching up to feed. AI-driven ad targeting is improving the outcome per dollar, and this is what I meant when I said that customers that spend on Meta, they see higher returns every time they spend for ads. Small businesses globally still under-monetize. Meta does not need more users. Meta needs higher revenue per user. The AI improves conversation prediction, creative optimization, budget allocation, and this alone, like I said, can drive high single-digit to low double-digit revenue growth with expanding margins. Now, lever number 2 is WhatsApp becomes a global business utility. The fact is that WhatsApp has 2.7 billion users, extremely high engagement, directly tied via phone number, and users use it daily. The monetization path for WhatsApp is business pay per message, marketing messages, transaction flows, authentication, and payments. And not to mention, WhatsApp could also be a whole CRM app where businesses use it, and it could be competing with things like Salesforce, HubSpot, and so much more. Lever number 3 would be AI improves margins, not the products. Most people focus on AI features. The real impact is the cost structure and how AI can improve things like ad efficiency, content ranking, moderation costs, and engineering productivity. Higher output per employee matters as Meta grows. If Meta holds revenue growth while expanding margins, valuation expands really fast. The fourth is Meta Compute turns cost into a moat. Meta is making compute a strategic asset. AI demands is persistent, and renting compute caps their margin. And this is why by owning compute gives them long-term pricing power and operating leverage as well. The compute would support things like ads, WhatsApp, AI APIs, and internal model iteration speed. So this is not a cloud business like AWS or Google Cloud. It is an internal leverage that improves every product. Lever number 5 would be Llama and AI distribution. Meta does not need to win the AI model leadership outright. It needs massive distribution, developer adoption, and integration into existing products like WhatsApp, for example. And the new update, Meta AI is on WhatsApp, and it's really getting better than, for example, last year. Llama works here because it's an open model strategy. It runs everywhere, and because Meta made Llama, it integrates into Meta apps super easily. If Meta catches the AI usage at the interface layer, monetization follows straight away. Lever number 6 would be capital returns amplify valuation. Meta generates enormous cash flow. Meta is known for their cash flow and how that enables aggressive buybacks, reduced share count, and higher earnings per share growth. Even moderate revenue growth looks powerful when shares outstanding fall. This is quite but extremely important. So what must go right to justify 4 trillion in a market cap is ads must keep compounding, WhatsApp monetization must scale meaningfully, AI must expand margins, not just cost, compute strategy just executes without overrun. If all these levers hit, I truly believe that Meta can reach 4 trillion in market cap. This is just the beginning for Meta. It's moving away from just a social media app to owning the infrastructure for the AI era. From chips, cloud, and their own AI models, it's set to be a leader in the AI space and a company that really utilizes all the leverages that they have. Having 3.5 billion users is extremely valuable. On all these users that Meta has is the reason why Meta is going to hit 4 trillion in market cap. If you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe, and tell me in the comments, what do you think? Do you agree that Meta could reach 4 trillion in 2030, or do you think it could even go higher than that? Tell me in the comments below what you think. I'll see you on to the next one. Thank you so much for watching this video.